Good evening. Welcome to Matinee Free Webinar. Today, we are talking about positive mental health and EQ. Basically, one of my friends, Mr. Raza Khan from Sage Mender, is from UK, and I think he is doing the second time his topic here. And along with Mr. Matt, two professionals, both are working in emotional intelligence. And today, they are going to build a connection with ourselves. So on behalf of you all, I'm welcoming Mr. Raza Khan and Mr. Matt for the topic. And I think today starts with Raza Khan. So both Raza Khan and Matt, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Matt.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome back again, and good to be here. Thank you, Dr. S, for having us, and thanks, Raza, for joining in. We have a cool topic today about being connected with self. I hadn't thought of that before. Raza brought it up and said he was doing a presentation on that, and I'm like, hey, that's a cool concept, actually. We do disconnect from ourselves. We are born connected, actually, in my opinion. We seem to be pretty little babies are born pretty peaceful and loving and open, and they know when they're upset and they know when they're not. You know what I mean? But their natural state is pretty calm, and knowing, you know, they're in touch with their feelings. They allow them as much as possible, but we disconnect as we grow up. Pain, bullying, rejection, abandonment, violation, trauma, all kinds of stuff that happens to us. And we then end up disconnecting from ourselves, or we create this mask, or we try to be something that we're not, all that kind of stuff. And that's all disconnect. What I see you guys doing, what we're trying to encourage here is to take some time to reconnect now that you're an adult. It's kind of your responsibility, kind of your problem now. And so we're encouraging you to take this time, which you're doing right now. It's pretty cool that you're listening to us and working on this kind of subject, at least being open to it. But we're suggesting that we do deal with some of the stuff from our past so that we can reconnect, so you can reconnect. So we're calling it emotional intelligence. I'm sure you've heard that term before. We're also calling it positive mental health. We're learning how to deal with our negatives, especially our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors and actions in positive ways. So with that said, here comes Raza. Raza's a coach, longtime coach from UK. I don't know all of his background and details. You can share that if you want, Raza. But what I do know is I love his energy and his concepts for self-healing. And so that's why we're jumping on this together. So Raza's going to talk for a little while and do his presentation, then I'm going to do some afterwards. So Raza, take it away, bud.
Thanks, Matt. First of all, is everybody can hear me? That's one thing I just want to confirm that. Yep. Just thumbs up if you can. Fantastic. The most important thing, I was talking about sharing the emotional intelligence stats this morning. I was doing some research. It was quite scary. It says only about 36% of the people in the world are emotionally intelligent. Now that's a scary stat, really scary stat. Only 36%.
How many?
36.
36. That's higher than I thought. Okay, go ahead.
And only 42% of the companies provide a specific training to help employees cultivate emotional intelligence. Even the companies are not taking that on board. They're supposed to, because we are living in 21st century. And then there's the other stats, which is the most important one, is that 95% of the surveyed HR manager and 99% of the employees believe that emotional intelligence is the must-have skill for every staff member. Right now, is not what I was going to say is that it is not a responsibility of the companies. Yes, it is when you're working for them, but it is our responsibility to go for the emotional intelligence. But let's start with this one. Sorry, Matt. Let me just okay. Let's start with that. why am I talking about? Because, you know, if you look at that stat, that's quite scary. The reason for that stat is that we are self-disconnected, as Matt was talking about. But in this presentation, let me help you explore some of the concept of self-connection together, because we are self-disconnected. The reason we talk about the various reasons, we talk about various things, but let's utilize this tool, which I'm going to share with you. You can apply it on a daily basis immediately to connect with yourself, right? Now, what I'm going to do is that, so in there, we're gonna talk about introduction, and then we're going to talk about what is self-connection and why does it matter. Then we're going to talk about when does the self-disconnection starts. And then I will share some of the causes of the self-disconnection, and then I will share some of the way to, or the top tips to actually self-connection, and then who you can start with self-connection. Because I think the problem is that when I'm talking about the self-connection, you suddenly think, oh, relationship, I need to self-connect with somebody else, and maybe my family, maybe my mother, maybe my father, maybe my children. But no, self-connection starts with yourself first. So that's home we start with, because once you are self-connected with yourself, then it's easy to make a connection with the other people. And then the last one, we'll talk about the Q&A. Okay, so who am I? My name is Raza Khan, a Sage Mentor. I'm a business and a personal growth mentor and a technology consultant. I've been working in the technology for over 28 years, and I believe you me, I have seen all type of introvert, emotional reactions, and mental issues people have while working in the technology. I've invested over 15 years learning about emotional intelligence. Last 6 years, I spent a considerable time helping other people as well to manage their, first of all, get them to self-connect, understand their limiting belief, understand where the emotional triggers are, and then help them manage anger, anxiety, and frustration. Now, my father decided for me that route, but unfortunately, I didn't. I kind of disappointed him. So I end up in that route. So this is where I have spent my time, as I talked to you about already. So let's start with the journey of what is self-connection and what does it matter. Now, self-connection, imagine living a life where you deeply understand and yourself, allowing you to make bold decisions, confidently embrace your unique qualities, because we all have unique qualities. We all born a gifted, qualities by the man up there. The key to unlocking this extraordinary existence through self-connection, because we are disconnected, so we don't really know our qualities. We don't even know what are the gifts which we have, which we can share with the rest of the world, right? This involves in exploring your thoughts, emotions, and desire to understand your authentic self. Because what happens is that we're living the life by somebody else describing that life. Because we are disconnected, we don't know who we are, we don't know what's happening, we don't know what's going on with us on a day-to-day basis. That's why people can immediately trigger your emotions, give you anger, anxiety, frustrations, and then causes the mental health issues. There is a lot of mental health issues happen since the COVID, but there is a way to actually deal with that. There is a way to manage that. Okay, but wait. There is more research has shown that the individuals who invest in the self-reflection experience higher well-being and satisfaction with life. Okay, that means that self-connection isn't just the hocus pocus thing. It is scientifically proven to more fulfilling life. So why settle for mediocrity when you can embark on a journey that leads to extraordinary self-discovery? Because I tell you about my story, because I was totally self-disconnected. I did not know who I was. I was empty inside. But then when I started connecting myself, I started understanding my emotional triggers, emotional intelligence, my anger, anxiety, frustration, opportunities and things has opened up for me. Now this next is like a example. It says it is an absolute. I mean, I don't want to read this because obviously it loses the essence, but you can imagine. When you look in the mirror, can you honestly say to yourself that I love you and I forgive you? We as a man struggle, but believe you me, even I have come across so many women, so many ladies, and even young girls, they struggle looking at the mirror saying those two words. So let's start with that. When did the self-disconnection start? Studies constantly shown that the disconnection from oneself may stem from childhood. Could be any reason, could be anything happened to you. Yeah, you disconnected. Maybe a mother slapped you, father hit you, put you in the corner, something like that happened. These are just tiny traumas, but we live by those traumas all our life. So, and then the traumas, such traumas like lack of emotional support, unhealthy family dynamics, growing up in an environment where emotions are not expressed. You know, in Asian especially, I know for sure that in Asian, we don't have a concept of giving a hug to our children. Because we think, yeah, shabash, shabash, that's fine, that's fine. That's what we do. But I mean, I'll give you an example that I tested my daughter. My daughter is like, when she got 98% in the exam, I just to test that, I said, why don't you get 100%? She goes, Dad, you or Asian people always like that. But it's like, they need that hug. They need that, the kiss and the warmth of the body as well. Because by doing that, you're actually helping them to understand that we are with them. And these are the family dynamics we're talking about. And unfortunately in Asians, we don't have it. And that's a bigger problem. And is more mental health issues, which we have than anywhere else. But globally, there is a lot more mental health issues because of that. And then growing up in an environment where emotions are not expressed, acknowledged, can make it challenging for the individuals. And that's what happens. Especially after the Second World War, there's a lot of the Air Force people, Army people, those guys, if you look at their children, which is our generation or the generation before us, our parents, they suffered that problem. They suffered that issues because the people were, they did not know, being in the army, they did not know how to express their emotions, how to connect themselves. I was literally a few days ago, I was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger's documentary. That's what he was talking about. That then he did not connect himself because there was no connection with his family. Okay. Moreover, those who suffered abuse, neglect, trauma may develop a defense mechanism, and that involved detaching from their internal experience to protect themselves from the further pain. That's what happens eventually. The family and the community play a crucial role in shaping up children's identity. The belief and values instilled in them can impact their ability to connect with themselves. If a child is taught to prioritize external validation over their internal experience, they may become dependent on external approval. This is what's happening in the social media. I mean, we all looking for, when we put something on the Facebook, we're looking, somebody's going to validate, somebody's going to thumbs up, or the heart, or the care. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, and that's what's causing the problem, because we are not internally connected. That's make it difficult for them to develop a strong sense of the self. However, it is important to note that disconnection from oneself is not limited to childhood experience and can occur adulthood as well due to various factors. Could be marriage broken up, relationship issues, adult relationship issues, could be disconnected for many reasons, could be disconnected because of the work environment. All those things can cause problems in the adulthood as well. It is possible to develop a self-awareness and reconnect with oneself at any point in life through multiple practices. First of all, let us understand the causes of the disconnection. Okay. So there are several causes of the disconnection from oneself. Here are some which I'll talk about. Number one, stress and overwhelm. In times of stress, it can be easy to disconnect from ourselves as we focus on getting through the day-to-day challenges. That's number one. Number two, traumas and past experiences, especially traumatic ones, can lead to disconnection from oneself as a protective mechanism to avoid emotional pain. Number three, emotional and cultural pressure. We all have that cultural and community pressure. We all live by the cultures and communities. The expectations of cultural norms and can make it difficult for people to truly connect with themselves and their true desire and beliefs and values. Because a number of times you've come across is that if it's a boy or if it's a girl, family, daughter or son, whatever, they have a different desire. Like, I didn't want it to be a doctor, but that was the chosen for me. But God, the man up there had a different plan. But similar sort of scenarios that we choose things for the children, but we don't allow them to understand who they are. We don't allow them to understand their own skill set, which they have. We don't allow them, we just dictate their life, but instead work with them to understand what they are and help them to expand that skill set which they have. That would really help. And then the third one or fourth one is the technology addiction. Technology and social media can be addictive and can cause us to detach from ourselves because we're constantly looking for a validation from somebody else. A busy lifestyle, that's the other one. In a fast-paced world, people may become disconnected from themselves because we're constantly running and then following the rat race. That's what causing the problem, because our priorities is to get by the day or or quickly, and busy schedules, coming home, cooking, whatever, and then go to bed, coming home, cooking, whatever, all those things. That is like a rat race, and then this cycle which we are constantly in. So we don't have time to sit back and understand who we really are. And then the last one is the lack of self-awareness. Sometimes people can become disconnected from themselves because the lack of self-awareness of not knowing who they really are. It is important to remember that the self-connection is a normal part of a human experience. It is possible to reconnect with our own self, so that the question is that how do we do that? Now, let me explain that when do we start with the self-connection and with whom, and then I'll share the top tips. Self-connection starts with you first, by building an authentic relationship with yourself, right? Building authentic relationship starts with you. Self-connection starts with you first. Now let's talk about the relationship with yourself. How can you connect with others if you're not connected with yourself? It is like trying to navigate a maze of in the blindfolded, but fear not. Basically, because self-connection is the ultimate secret for building authentic and meaningful connection. Think about the people you admire, enjoy spending time with. What makes them so unique? Think about that. So let me tell you a little secret. They are confident, comfortable in their own skin. And they don't need third party or outside validation. They're not looking for people to say, oh, you're looking good or whatever. They are comfortable. They when they wear a clothes, they're enjoying it because they're not wearing the clothes, or they're not doing the touch up for somebody else. They're doing it for themselves, right? And they are in touch with their emotions. They understand the emotional triggers. They understand how they can self-control. They understand their mental well-being. By cultivating this self-connection, you can become a charismatic by doing that. Individual who effortlessly communicate, set boundaries, and build relationships that light up your world. Okay, because here comes some of the research. Deci and Ryan found that the individuals with a strong sense of self-connections are more likely to form a satisfying and fulfilling relationship with others, including children, including wives, including girlfriends, or whatever you want to call it, or parents. By investing in yourself, you're enhancing your own life, paving the way for deep and meaningful connection with the people who matter most to you. Because remember, the most important people around us is our mom and dad, our wife, children, sister, aunt. These are the people. As we are disconnected, we cannot really, build a relationship with them. First, we need to build a relationship with us so we can have an authentic relationship with them, right? Now, the second one is harnessing the personal growth and resilience. Life is like a roller coaster. It's full of highs and lows, but there is a kicker. How you navigate those challenges determine your success. And guess what? Self-connection is the ultimate power that will help you rise above these obstacles. Because once you're self-connected, doesn't matter what type of challenges you have, you can tackle it. You can smile at the problem, and then you can deal with it because you're self-connected. You understand that you understand your own values, you understand your own skill set, and you can connect and you can manage that. Okay, you can even set, if you have a setback in the career, so what? That's fine. I failed. So what? Failure is all about first attempt in learning. I've learned something. Now I'm going to try again, but this time around, I'm going to make sure that I will not do what I've done before. That's why I failed. So all these things is part and parcel of that, because once you're self-connected, you can easily manage those challenges. Okay. Now, the third one is finding a purpose and fulfillment. As we are disconnected, we don't really know what our purpose is and what our fulfillment is, what we really like, what we really enjoy, what we really get excited about. Let me give you examples, because I think it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was coaching one of the lady she was a director in one of the technology company, and she was traveling to Romania, and she never really helped anybody before. But what she did is that she helped a couple of people who did not understand the Dutch. So she speak to them in Dutch and help the custom and excise people or custom people or immigration people, explaining them in a Dutch, and while she is translating in Romanian. She felt so good about it, but because she wasn't connected with herself, she didn't see those opportunities. She was asking me, how is that I didn't see those opportunities before? I said, the reason you didn't see those opportunities before, because you were not self-connected, you were not emotional intelligence, because those opportunities was there all along. But it's just that once you've connected yourself, those opportunities are open up to you, and then you will be able to do that. You help people with your skill set. So it is important, find the purpose. What is your purpose? Understand what you really like, what you can really, give you example. When you're looking at the movie, some of the movies, right? Suddenly your tears start rolling through your eyes. You don't know why, but something in that scene or in that movie touch your heart, right? Or something you're doing where your hair raises up. That means that's what you really love and you really like. That's the purpose. And that's what we need to look for. Once we identify that, we start connecting, because that's the purpose we want to go for. And then we want to fulfill that. Okay. Let me give you an example of a Jane, a successful corporate executive. Despite her achievement, she felt an endless void in her career. Something was missing and she could not ignore it any longer. Jane discovered her true passion for environmental conversation through this self-connection practice, like journaling and reflection. There is a tip: journaling and reflect. When you write it down, most of the people, we don't have time, we are running around, so we don't write it down exactly what is really happening to us. We don't ponder. Take a 5 minutes, take a 1 minute, understand if there is a trigger happen, understand what are the cause of those trigger, and write it down, because once you write it down, it becomes obvious to you, right? So and then she, by aligning, so basically there was a jaw-dropping experience she had by aligning her choices with her values and passion. Because what's happened is that when you identify your values and passion, you can find a job which you really love doing. By doing that, you are actually changing your career, but you are really excited and you really enjoy it. Because what happens is that most of the time, as we are disconnected, we're just chasing the money and we get into the job. After 10 years, I've come across so many professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants, even the technologists. After 10 years, we are so, disconnected with ourselves and with the profession, because we don't enjoy it anymore. Money is not the matter anymore. Once we start disconnecting ourselves, and then the things which we do enjoy, we will make more money than we can even think about. But the important thing is that have to connect yourself first. Be here, love yourself, respect yourself, give yourself what you think is worth. There is a thing says, know yourself, choose yourself, give yourself. Those are the 3 exercises. If you do that, you will connect with yourself. Okay. Let me give you some top tips. Okay. To ignite the self-connection journey, now that we have uncovered the mysteries of self-disconnection, let me give you some tips, 3 of them. Embrace the mindfulness and reflection. We already talked about reflection. When you reflect, write it down. When you write something down on the piece of paper, it becomes very obvious and you can tackle it. Okay. Set aside not hundreds of hours, not 10 hours, not 2 hours, 5 minutes every day for yourself. Give yourself. That's the important part. Yeah. Understand, do a mindful practice. Yeah. Write a journaling, do the journaling, do the meditation. These activities creates a space for self-reflection, allowing you to cultivate self-awareness and tap into your inner wisdom, who you really are. Right. That's number 1. Number 2, prioritize solitude, make room and room for solitude in the hustle and bustle, because we are constantly running, paying bills, job, home, family, social circumstances, community. We're constantly running, but we never really take time out for ourselves, right? So take 5 minutes every day in your busy schedule, write it down, or maybe put in your calendar, or maybe you put it on your mobile phone, says 5 minutes for me time. Just reflect, understand exactly what's going on with you. And especially switch off your mobile phone so you can disconnect from the external distraction. Allow you to really understand who you are. During this precious moment, think about genuinely what you really like, what you really love. And then I don't know if you've seen one of the Amir Khan's movie, All Is Well. He touches heart and always says all is well. Is that because he's trying to connect himself with his own heart? That's why. Try that, all is well. That's the most important part. And the third one is explore your passion and interest. We already talked about. If you explore your passion and interest, believe you me, you will make more than enough money for a lifetime. Not just, sometimes it's not about money, sometimes it's what you love. Yeah. And sometimes when you love what you do, you will be there forever, because you will enjoy your day. You will not see is a weekend or is a holidays or whatever. You will continue to keep doing whatever you're doing. Even on a holidays, you will work on that. That's the thing which I'm talking about when you're talking about passion and interest. All right. So whether it's painting, playing instrument, or volunteering for causes close to your heart, follow your passion, explore new avenues for self-expression. Or maybe just taking somebody in the school or somebody under your mentorship, just help them with your experience. The venues will open up for you. You have no idea how things will plan out. But when the things will plan out, they will be according to what you love and what you enjoy most. So now you know you have uncovered the extraordinary power of self-connection. Remember, this journey is not one-time event. You have to keep doing it, and it is a lifelong pursuit. Embrace it, nurture it, watch your life transform in unimaginable ways. So as long as you're ready to embark, let me just share some of the experiences. For me, it all started when I was 2 years old. I don't know if you've already talked. I've already talked about it in the previous meetings, but I was disconnected because at the age of 2 years old, I was I saw a 2 near death. I came across 2 near death experience. I saw a lot of dead bodies when I was young, and that stopped me talking for a year. So I was disconnected because my fear, my anxiety, my anger was towards my parents, because why didn't they protect me? Why didn't they do that? But about 15 years ago, when I understood what was happening to me, things was changed. Oops, sorry. Okay. My turning point was 2009, when things was changed for me. Because when I was disconnected, I really didn't enjoy. My financial being was impacted as well. One day, my daughter, 6-year-old daughter, came to me and said, "Dad, how are we gonna survive, or how am I gonna get to the school when we don't have enough money?" She was only 6 years old. I did not have the answer for that, because I did not really love myself and who I am, and I didn't really care about the family. But my head was dropped because I didn't have the answer for that. And then on the same night, I went into her bedroom while she was fast asleep. I put my hand on her head and said, I promise you, I will never allow anything to come in in the way of your education or anything else. Today, I can tell you that she is 24-year-old and she's qualified doctor. Only a couple of days ago, we got the results. That's what this connection can do for you. So the results I had was I become fully aware of my limiting beliefs, emotions, help gain confidence, become a skilled communicator. I conquered my anger, fear, anxiety. My life and relationship transformed. My life vision was clear. It empowered me to make informed decisions and help stay laser focused on achieving my goals. Okay, I'm empowered to grow and be resilient and achieve successes. All I did was to commit my goals, leading increased productivity and trust, resilience, relationship, and fulfillment. All that happened because I started connecting myself to myself. I fully immersed in a personal development and emotional intelligence. I digested pretty much everything I can think of. And I spent, and I'm continuously doing that. And that's where this new subject of self-disconnection came about. I realized it's amazing. I didn't have the word back then when I was doing that, but now I understand that what does self-disconnection is all about. That's me. If you want to connect, that's my LinkedIn, that's my Facebook, my Instagram. And then, okay, it is essential to enhance our relationship with ourselves. And that will help you to reach successes. In his book, there is a book, there is a book by Eckhart Tolle. He says that remember, yesterday is the past. We cannot change it. Happened. Tomorrow is a movie in our head. It's not yet happened or filmed yet. We can only commit to the moments which we live in. So why carry all the heaviness of the past when you can let it go forever to make a movie for the future? Okay. All I can say is I cannot teach people anything. We can only help discover in it within themselves. Thank you. That's all for me. Matt, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Matt, are you there? Yes.
I'm here, ready to go. All right. Thanks, Raza. This is great stuff. Very important that we learn how to reconnect with ourselves, and that was a good description of how to do that. So thank you. All right, I'm going to take it here a little bit, and we're going to go a little bit deeper, I think. And so we're talking about building the connection with ourselves. What I'm hoping for you in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to go quickly, learn about emotional intelligence and positive mental health, learn about more about you emotionally so that you can reconnect with yourself and create some inner peace inside of you. And we are asking that you share what you learn, because most people have no idea about emotional intelligence or how to do their mental health. They have no idea, and that's a bad thing. That's a dangerous thing, it turns out. So our nonprofit's about we're trying to create world peace, and that starts with inner peace. So we're teaching people how to do inner peace because we don't know how to do it, and that's a very bad thing. Dalai Lama said, through inner peace, genuine world peace can be achieved. Peace must first be created within ourselves and then gradually expanded to include our families, our communities, and ultimately the whole planet. So that's what we're working on. We're going for inner peace first. We're starting with emotional intelligence. In order to get some peace inside of us, we've got to be able to handle our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our behaviors, our attitudes, our beliefs, all of that stuff. And there's a science to all of it, emotional intelligence, and there's an art to it. The science is very real, what's happening in our bodies, but the art to it is how to do it. And that's what positive mental health is about. What do we do with all this information? And together, the science and the art together, I'm saying it's magic. It's actually magic. It affects us everywhere, school, work, home, every single place, everywhere, 24/7, 365. And so this is super important information, most relevant subject on the planet, in my opinion. So as you know, we have a brain, and it's split in half. The problem is, and that's a good thing, it works fine. The problem is that we work on the left brain, our logical, sequential, cognitive side. Our left brain is where our society, our culture and yours mostly focus on our left brain. We don't very well focus on our right brain, which is our creativity, our passion, our feelings, all that stuff. And they're very, very relevant. It's half of our brain and half of our system. And we don't talk about them, and we don't learn about them, and we don't learn about it in school. We don't talk about them at home. You better not do them at work, right? That kind of thing. So that's a problem. So we learn about left brain, very little about right brain. So we need to. The solution is education, and that's what we're doing right now. It's an education issue, and we're trying to teach people everywhere how to do this. Our nonprofit's trying to get emotional education into schools everywhere. Because all kids, I mean, it's just wrong that we don't teach this stuff in schools. So we're starting to, like Raza mentioned earlier, people are becoming more aware of this, and the reason a lot of them are becoming more aware of it is because of problems, because of issues, because of suicides and violence and abuse and addictions are going up. All these negative social statistics are going up because people don't know how to deal with their emotions, in my opinion. And that's what they're finding, actually. And it's kind of fun because the demand is skyrocketing now, but it is because of pain and problems. We start with safety. This is super important, and this is one of the reasons that we disconnect from ourselves. We do not give ourselves, we don't accept our emotions because we don't understand them, and they're weird and they feel bad, and some of them are very, very uncomfortable. And so we do not give ourselves permission to feel. And that's our deal. We don't give ourselves permission to feel. It turns out that Permission to Feel is the name of a very, very good book by Dr. Mark Brackett from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. Highly recommend it. But you get the idea, even if you don't read it. Give yourself permission to feel. If you can make it safe for yourself, you can make it safe for other people like that, and your relationships will be better. And you can, again, if you allow your own feelings, you can reconnect with yourself and others. We're born with pretty clear, pretty good connection with ourselves. Like I mentioned earlier, we only were born with a few fears, according to science. What are they? The two are fear of loud noises and fear of falling. That means that all of our other fears and all of our anger is made up. We made it up along the way. We picked it up. It's nurture, not nature. We weren't born this way. And so that means that we can put them back down. We don't have to walk around being fearful and angry and sad and that sort of stuff if we are aware of what's going on and we can manage things. We don't have to carry that around. We were not born with it, and it's not part of our system. So when babies are born, we have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old granddaughter. I spent all day yesterday with them. I love watching them and working with them and seeing how they function. When they first came out, they were pretty good. They were pretty calm and pretty peaceful and pretty loving, actually. And they snuggle with you and that sort of thing. They had all the good positive emotions. But what happens, unless something's going wrong, unless they aren't they're hungry, or their diaper's dirty, or they're are in pain or something like that, then they let you know. They emote, they let you know about it, they feel what they feel. And then when they get their needs met, they go back to their natural state, which is calm and peaceful and loving again. That's a natural state, according to me. And so, but as we grow up, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. We get all kinds of reasons, and our parents tell us, don't you be angry, or don't you, I'll give you something to cry about, or some stuff like that. And then we start doubting our feelings, and then we start disconnecting from them, which is the word of the day here. And we don't deal with them as well as we did when we were little. So positive mental health is about getting back to our positives by dealing with our negatives. My main mentor is Doc Downing. Doc says negative emotions expressed as intensely as they are felt in the body will reduce in intensity and are free to change, right? So just like little kids, if you let yourself feel what you need to feel, then you and which is you connecting with you, then the feelings will often, usually most of the time, will dissipate and will reduce in intensity. And so you feel better. If you feel bad, in other words, if you feel like crying, if your body needs to cry, let it. If you need to be angry for a minute, let yourself be angry. You don't have to blast anybody, but you just let yourself feel what you feel. It's called permission that you don't give yourself. So that's something that is a very cool idea. One of the ways to do that, this is not one of the ways, this is what we teach in order to do that. How do you transform your negative feelings into positives? How do we manage them? First, always, is awareness. We got to be aware first. Second, acceptance. Doesn't seem like that big a deal, but it is, because permission is that same word again. If we do not accept our feelings, then we are pushing them away. You're being dishonest with yourself. We lie to ourselves. We hide stuff. We put on this mask and all this other stuff because we are not accepting. We're not giving ourselves permission to be who we are and to accept ourselves. So highly recommend that you accept those. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. Next is identification. Okay, I can identify what I'm feeling. What is it? Being aware of it, being able to name it. I call it name it to tame it, which is being able to just say, hey, I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm feeling embarrassed right now. I'm feeling fearful right now, that kind of stuff. And just, okay, that's okay. And accept it, right? You can, if you identify it, a lot of times you feel better right away just by identifying it. And then, of course, accept it would be a nice thing instead of denying it and lying about it to yourself. So next is expression. When you have a big feeling, like I said, if you can allow yourself to feel what you feel and express it, it's something that becomes you. It's an expressive thing where you get to work on this the rest of your life. How much? There's a saying about being angry is easy. Being angry at the right time, with the right volume, using the right words with the right people, that's not so easy. That's trickier. So your expression, you got to use some good sense with it. We got to use both sides of our brain. In other words, you got to be logical about it. If you just blast somebody, it's probably not gonna go well. So you be logical about it and you make some common sense about it and think it through and feel both. You use both sides of your brain. So things need to make sense and feel good or feel right. Then once we allow something, when we let ourselves feel something, then we got to let it go, right? There's a lot of people that are angry and then they're angry and then they're angry some more because they never let it go. They just keep it and hang on to it and keep it in their body. And that's not necessary. And your body will fall apart. Your body doesn't like that. Doesn't like carrying around a bunch of garbage and stuff from your past. I was going to use a yuckier word, but you know what I mean. There's stuff that we have and we carry it and we don't have to, and our body will like us to release it, let it go. It doesn't have to be on anybody, just outside of you. And then you can fill back up with positives. So like if you have pain in your neck, you have stress in your lower back, you have pain or sadness in your heart, that kind of thing, you can release that stuff and then you can fill it back up with a positive, like color or a sound or a feeling that you want to put inside of you. Love, joy, peace. You can green, beautiful dark green, or a real light blue, or a white, or whatever, and you can replace the negative that you let go of with positives in your body, and your body will appreciate that, and it feels really good, and you can do it. It's kind of weird because you can't see it. You can imagine it, you can't see it, but you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. And then the last step is rejoice, which is just pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Acknowledge yourself, empower yourself, motivate yourself. to keep going, even though it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable sometimes. So what we're trying to do is be smart about our emotions. Using the positive mental health is using strategies to get to peace. Peace is the goal that we're looking for here. Some benefits of doing that: we can think better thoughts, we can believe better beliefs, we can feel better feelings, we can make better decisions, we can take better actions and get better results and have a better life. You can do all that stuff with this positive mental health, and it's all totally free. It's all totally free inside of you. So you can make all these things happen if you learn how to do that. And it's all, like I said, it's all totally free inside of you. Positive mental health is the state of psychological and emotional well-being in which individuals are able to function optimally, cope with normal stresses of life, and contribute positively to your community. Involves the ability to think, feel, and act in ways that promote happiness, resilience, and a sense of purpose and meaning. Okay, this was written by, we were doing a presentation a week or two ago. PERELSTEIN runs Nurture Life. It's a worldwide mental health organization, nonprofit, and they're working on suicide prevention. Suicide, as you may know, is ridiculously going through the roof in your society and ours, all over, actually, in the UK and in Africa, everywhere. They're trying not to talk too much about it because nobody wants to talk about it, but it's happening. It's real. And to me, that's the ultimate in not knowing how to deal with your thoughts and feelings. You get stuck with all this stuff going on, and people, kids especially, young people especially, are going, I don't know how to handle this. I don't understand it. It feels awful. I don't see it changing anytime soon. I'm out of here. And that's just so wrong, because we can teach them. We can teach people how to deal with their emotions. And then maybe they're here it's a bit longer. So, and what it boils down to is being able to deal with our negative emotions in particular. We need, there's, well, positive mental health is based on positive psychology. Positive psychology said a number of years ago, if you've heard of it, certainly it's also skyrocketing in popularity. They said that therapy has been for hundreds of years. The purpose was to get from the disorders and the negative and the our pain and our issues, which are negative, back to normal. They're trying to get, the purpose of therapy was to get people back to normal. Positive psychology, Dr. Martin Seligman from the University of Pennsylvania said, wait a minute, we can do better than that. We don't have to just get back to normal, back to zero from negative. We can do positive. We can go up. We can do better. We can learn about ourselves, and we can have resilience and success and happiness and love and peace and joy. We can create all of that stuff, not just normal, but excellent. We can not just survive, we can thrive, in other words. And so I'm taking that same thing with mental health. If we learn how to deal with our issues and our problems and our pain, then we can have more joy, peace, and love. If we learn how to do it. You notice this little graph here is a little smiley face, right? Turn that frown upside down. It's oversimplified, and it's not always easy. It's simple. If you're really sad, let yourself cry. If you have a feeling, acknowledge it and let yourself deal with it. It's not rocket science, but it's not easy either. Sometimes it's very painful and very uncomfortable. So if you can let yourself be comfortable being uncomfortable, you can do some amazing stuff. But so we got to deal with our negatives. So here's the good news. We are in control. We are in control of our own lives. No matter what happens outside of us, we have the power to control what happens inside of us. So it's not them. It's not them. Number one takeaway from all of this, of us talking, and I'm now thinking that this is the biggest thing. If we had to do just a bumper sticker and on one specific thing, this is it. If this, to me, is the tipping point. If you can take responsibility for your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all of that stuff, if you can take responsibility for that and know that you created them, that people don't make you angry, that people don't hurt your feelings, They don't do that. They just do what they do. They say what they say. They're doing what they're doing, right? The world is doing what it's doing. It's how we perceive it. It's the meaning we place on it. It's what we take from it. That is where it comes into our system, and then we do stuff with it. The cool part is that we get to decide. We get to decide. They didn't make us think anything or feel anything without our permission. You can physically, but not emotionally. So that puts you in charge of your life. And like I said, it's a tipping point, in my opinion. If you can take responsibility, you can do some great stuff. You can love more, you can be more open, you can talk to people, you can risk more, you can sit in front of a bunch of people like I'm doing right now and make an idiot of myself, because I never used to do this. I never would have done this a bunch of years ago, because I couldn't handle the negatives. Now, if I can handle my negative feelings, if this doesn't go well, I'll deal with it. If I can't, then I have to keep myself really contained and really tight and hide and be quiet and don't rock the boat and all that stuff, because I can't handle it if it doesn't go well. Now I go, hey, you know what? This isn't going well. Or, hey, learn about this. This is a really big deal, because if if it doesn't go well, I can handle it. Anyway, if you take the responsibility, you can do great things. If not, you become a whiner, a blamer, victim, that kind of thing. And it's no fun. And they did it to you, and you hope the world changes so that you can be happy. No, that's not how that works. I want to be happy. Call me a control freak if you want. I want to be in charge of me. So I'm trying to create inner peace. These goals are teachable skills. We're trying to create inner peace inside of me, or inside of you. Interpersonal peace between us, right? The two of us. Social peace among us. We're doing it right now. We've got a group of people, and as far as I know, we're all getting along right this minute. And so we're succeeding in that area right this minute. And if enough of us learn how to be peaceful, maybe we can have big peace in the world. Maybe we'll see. We're going to give it a try. So how this works is that we don't know, and then we find out how to know. So you're unconsciously incompetent first. This is the 4 steps to learning emotional intelligence, or learning anything really. First, we don't know. Second, we find out that we don't know. Third, we find out how to know. And fourth is we know. We know, right? So that it's real simple, but it's real powerful too, to know that where you're at with this. So we're focusing on steps 2 and 3. First, you don't know, and we're now finding out that we do not know. Find out what you are not aware of. That's step 2. And then you find out how to do it different. That's take a workshop or a webinar, learn something, grow, listen to people, read a book, listen to yourself, reconnect with yourself. All those kind of stuff is all step 3, where you're becoming consciously competent. Maybe someday you get to step 4 and it becomes a habit. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. In a couple areas, I'm doing pretty good, but that's tough. That's tough, but it can be done. 3 steps to emotional intelligence, as I said: awareness, acceptance, action. We got to be aware first. So that's consciousness, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, but we got to be aware of ourselves first. And like Raz was saying, if you're disconnected, you don't know what you're feeling. You don't know, like that example he gave of that lady that was like surprised that she felt so good about helping people. She was not aware of that. And so she became aware and like, wow. And she accepted it, sounds like, and hopefully she'll take some action and do it different in the future. Cool, right? That's all you got to do. Be aware, accept, very important. And then you decide if you want to act or not. Notice it's act or not, meaning that if with strong feelings, sometimes not acting, keeping your mouth shut, not blasting people in the United States, not shooting anybody. You don't have to shoot anybody. You don't have to shoot yourself. If you have a feeling, it's okay. You can take action or not. No matter how strong our thoughts and feelings are, we get to decide if we're going to act on them or not. That's a big deal. And that puts me in charge of me. If I only feel like I only have one choice and I got to act, then, and it's going to be negative, it's not going to go well. It's not going to be pretty. So awareness is about knowing what you know and what you don't know. Acceptance is about giving yourself emotional responsibility. ER is emotional responsibility and permission to feel, accepting yourself, which is reconnecting. And then actions, we got lots of choices, lots and lots of choices. With emotion, the more we know emotional intelligence, the more choices we have. And that's a good thing. Couple of, I do hashtags because I'm not that smart. And so I need to sum it up really clearly. Actually, the first one is name it to tame it, which means that identification, being able to identify what the heck you're feeling so you'll know what to do with it. Spin it to win it means that you can change it. If you don't like what you're thinking and feeling, if it's not working for you, change it. You can do that. You can change it. So spin it, adjust it. If I have a really yucky thought and I go, ooh, geez, and it makes me feel terrible, like someone's walking away from me, and I'm thinking, man, they're rejecting me. They don't love me. They don't care for me. I'm no good. All that kind of stuff. That's doesn't feel good, right? If I have those thoughts, that's not going to feel good, right? But I could also go, wait a minute, that's not what's happening. Hang on a second. I'm saying to myself, hang on, maybe that's not what's happening. Maybe they're just walking away, and they'll be back, or maybe they're not aware of what's going on, etc. We can change our thoughts, and that will change our feelings and probably change our behavior. So that's the concept of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, most popular therapy methodology in the world. It's because it's just change your thoughts and change your feelings, or change everything if you change your thoughts. And then lastly, feel it to heal it. Like I said, that's about feeling your emotions, actually allowing yourself to feel them. This is about event, meaning, feeling, behavior is one of Doc Downing's concepts. And what we're talking about is connecting what happened to you as a child with what's happening now. What's happened as a child is connected with what happened now. This is a worksheet. You guys are welcome to it. I'll give the PowerPoint to Dr. S at the end of this, and you can fill out this worksheet. This worksheet can change your life permanently. This one pager can change everything for you, because what we're doing is you're finding out that your past, what happened to you in the past, what did you decide about life cognitively, but also in your belief systems? What did you decide about life as a result of what happened? Then what did those feelings came as a result of those? And what did you do? What did you do based on your thoughts and your feelings? So how did things go not well? How did your past affect you in now? Then the bottom half of the sheet is about the same event, the exact same event, because it's a past, it's a history, it's a fact now. What would you like to believe? Do you like to believe at first you might here's an example. Here's me. This is me. We moved a lot. I decided that everybody was moving, everybody was leaving me because we were my dad was in the military, and other people that we hung around were in the military, and so they were moving all the time. We moved 18 times by the time we were 18 years old. My sister figured it out the other day. I took that as meaning that there was something wrong with me. Well, how come they keep leaving me? How come everybody's leaving me? What's wrong with me? Right? I decided that as like 5 years old, around in there, 7 years old. And that's a big deal when you decide stuff like that. Those are called belief systems or meanings, and they're big, nasty, negative generalizations about life as a result of our pain. Then those cause the pain, right? Hurt, afraid, angry, I was sad, etc. I then did some yucky behaviors based on those things. That's all stuff that happened in the past. However, after doing some work on it, I'm now doing the bottom of the worksheet, and I go, you know what? Maybe they were leaving because they didn't have any choice, just like we didn't have any choice. They were just leaving, and it didn't have anything to do with me. It doesn't mean I was broken or bad or unlovable. And yeah, I'm getting kind of teary talking about this now because I'm still working on it. It was pretty deep stuff, and we all have this stuff. We all have these traumas in our life of where stuff rocked our world. And so now I'm starting to think, well, maybe I'm okay. Maybe I can be lovable. I don't know, that kind of thing. And I feel more peaceful, more safe, more connected with myself, and I act better based on that. So you're welcome to use this worksheet. Like I said, I just gave a 4-day class on this, and man, it can do so much for you if you change your beliefs and deal with your feelings in those 7 steps that I mentioned earlier. If you deal with your feelings, identify them, express them, release them, replace them, and rejoice in doing so. So a couple of things I was just thinking of, some stuff that you can do. Self-talk is really huge for connecting with yourself, getting feedback from other people, creating a buddy system where you feel safe, somebody you feel safe with, both of you feel safe, and you do this work together. Journaling, as Raza mentioned, journaling is a big deal. I'm a huge fan of journaling. I have these little notebooks that I have like 100 of them filled up, and I write, and I learn so much about myself. Just putting it on paper. I don't even read them most of the time, but me putting it into words that make sense, some kind of sense at the moment, is so helpful to me to bring it into my consciousness, so I'm aware and accept myself. And then I may or may not do anything about it action-wise, but at least I know. Meditation, yoga, all kinds of good stuff that you can do. This is PTSD versus PTSD is the concept that if the bad things that happen to you, like I said on this worksheet, the bad stuff that happened to me could be post-traumatic stress, or I can make it useful. I can make it into something positive for myself. That's post-traumatic growth. I can actually become better because of my pain. Kind of bizarre concept, but it's cool to think about. And CABT and REBT are the real popular or getting popular therapeutic methodologies that take into account CABT. CBT is cognitive behavioral. CABT is cognitive affective behavioral, and REBT is rational emotive, which means your thoughts and your feelings create our behavior, and that's their good therapeutic technique. So I know I'm over time. So what's coming next is we're creating a new website. It is for making it super safe for people, teach people about their emotions, and support people in dealing with their emotions, exploring themselves, sharing what's going on, and making connections with people. Connections are super important with ourselves and others, and a place where we can safely learn and grow together. So there it is. Sorry for going over, but I think it's important that we learn how to do this stuff and learn how to reconnect with ourselves.
Okay, thank you. Today we have very good 2 sessions, particularly first session, there is self-connection, how to improve, how we are disconnected, and what are the steps, what are the causes of disconnection. And we have some wonderful tools also. There are some top tips, as he says. One is practice mindfulness, aware mindful moments. Then another is reflection. Then the third one is satisfying yourself for at least just a few minutes, 5 minutes. And journaling and meditation. And one more, switch off your mobile phone. Detach from your mobile phones. And finally, explore your passion. And one more is very interesting. Uncover your extraordinary power. So these are wonderful tools for practicing self-connection. If you're not connecting ourselves, means is really a problem. Maybe many times you are connecting to others, but we are not connecting to ourselves. That's a problem. And regarding Mr. Matt, he is also having some wonderful tips and basically for emotional intelligence and positive mental health. There are 7 steps, wonderful tips. These all coming in line with Mr. Raza Khan. And it is 7 steps is awareness, acceptance, identification, then explore, release, replace, and rejoice. And 3 core features, that is awareness, acceptance, and action. These are the tools for positive mental health. So really a wonderful session. How to reconnect towards to ourselves is a wonderful topic for today. So very thankful to you both of you. Do you have any comments or any doubts? Anybody else? Shaji sir, are you here?
Yes.
I just put
See,
that PowerPoint on Google Drive in the link in there. Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Shavi.
Shaji sir, again.
okay. Matt sir, Mr. Perelstein, thank you for your wonderful enthusiastic presentation. I was late in attending your class today as I was at Palai to see at a hospital to see my niece's newborn child. So I could not attend your class today full. Still positive mental health, emotional well-being, where when we have so much of negatives, fear, anger, sadness, etc. When we deal with that, when we change that into joy, love, peace, we can enjoy. By being that we can be emotionally responsible, as you said. But very often we don't take responsibility for our actions, and we blame others for our condition. So when we are entrepreneurship, and when we behave with the common sense, it is very often said that common sense is not common. We don't understand things properly, and we don't perform things properly. So yeah, very often when we learn things, as you said, 4 stages are there. When we deliberately, consciously understand something and do, but when we develop our habits into unconsciously competent condition, when our habits are in that style, then things will become all right. But very often we don't have that kind of response or behavior at all times. For that, for those who behave like that, they are very much aware of their actions, and they accept things and they act accordingly. So God has given for us a free will, and we have the choice to do good or bad. So it is our choices that determine our condition. So we, as you said, we spin to be in our condition. So a wonderful class, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir. Thank
Shavi.
you.
I appreciate your comments. Definitely, we have choice of positive or negative. Ready to go from now on. Take your pick. So you're right on. Thanks.
Glenn, sir.
Second, sir, Matt, sir. Today we have got 2 wonderful classes at it. I'm only commenting or telling few words about the Rasagan's class. Am I audible, sir? Welcome. Audible?
Welcome.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then Rasagans are started. First, we have to connect ourselves. Actually, in this world, we are missing a connection with not only others, self-connection is not doing in a good manner. So then we have to connect ourselves, then only we can connect to other people, even to our relatives. That's a wonderful idea. We are keeping quiet, no connection. Then you have told that sacrifice yourself, sacrifice yourself, and that sacrifice will sacrifice needed. You're forcing to do connections to self and others. Without sacrifice, you cannot connect with people. Without sacrifice, you cannot connect with the relatives or the next people. Switching off this connection, say wonderfully that that is our death. I mean, switching off self, it is our death. Why I was not connecting? The reason for our disconnection is due to our anger and ego and Buddhism. And essentially you have to enhance your relationship with ourselves for more connections, more and more connections. We should hear with the heart, with our heart. We should do with empathy. Then the connection will go smoothly. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Empathy, number one skill of emotional intelligence, right on. Absolutely.
Yes,
Empathy and compassion.
Definitely.
You bet. And that starts with having empathy and compassion for ourselves. That's that reconnection thing, trying to, and that's part of the purpose of working on our past, is so that we can have some empathy for ourselves and go, man, that was hard. That was tough. When I was little, that was tough. And I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I made it through that. But damn, that was hard. And then I can go, yeah, this is me talking to me. Yeah, wow. Nice going. Raza?
I mean,
Looked like you're going to say
I
something.
would say, I think the self-connection, when we start connecting, our empathy starts. But, instead of showing the empathy to others, first show the empathy to ourselves. We don't. We are always angry. We are always, self-harming. I mean, there is a lot of, when you go to the psychologist or the hospital, mental hospital, those people in the mental hospital, they were mental. They didn't born mental. Something happened to them. What was the reason that happened to them? They end up in the mental hospital. Could be a trauma, could be cultural issues, could be community issues. What are they? When people are self-harming, what is the reason? Why would people, a human being, self-harm themselves? Reason is that something happened to them. There was a trauma, there was issues. And I mean, I don't disrespect therapists or counselors or anything like that. They're doing a great job. But in order to really help people to understand what's going on, they need to understand their childhood. They need to bring their childhood on the forefront, because we don't like talking about our childhood. We hate talking about childhood because it's painful. But once that you overcome that pain, that's it. You're free. Your baggage is gone. And most of the time, the problem is that we based our future on the past. As like Eckhart Tolle said, past is a movie, was gone. Future hasn't happened yet. You haven't made that movie. Live in the present so you can make the future movie. And that's what we miss all the time. And I have come across, not in just the Asian culture, but I've come across in all cultures. Because I've been fortunate enough to helping people globally, but I've come across that. It's the same scenario. I mean, we can blame our parents, we can blame our grandfathers, grandmothers, but really the responsibility stops with us. And they start with us. Because if you don't, then another 3 generations will suffer. And that's the problem. So that's for me, but yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anybody else? Joy is there. Mariam from Riyadh and Asha Nair. Any comments, please? George sir. Shai sir. Something.
So I have a doubt, Rasa Khan sir. See, many people may experience some kind of problems, and some kind of trigger may be there for that condition. Actually, when it is because of the lack of some neurotransmitter, is it the real reason for some kind of maladjusted behavior?
It is the behavior starts our childhood, right? Problem is that majority of the time when these things come up, they come up in the adulthood. We don't realize that. But if you look in the childhood, let me give you a simple example, or maybe a exercise for you guys to do, right? Draw a house, okay? And you will be surprised that when you draw a house, you will be surprised that the house you draw is the one you lived in the childhood. And you will not believe that how's that come about. Draw a house just like you, but this is not a kind of a design test or anything like that. But then when you put a lock on the doors or the ceiling, windows and things like that, start asking questions. Why did I do that? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? All these questions, when you start asking, that will remind you of your childhood. The things is happening in your childhood. Once you understand that, it makes it a lot easier, because all those things happen in the childhood is the triggers in the adulthood. The anger, the anxiety, the fear, the frustration, everything. Dr. S. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Nice.
All starts in childhood. Okay, thank you.
So, anybody else have any doubts or any comments regarding about this self-connection as well as positive mental health? Okay, thank you, Raza Khan. It's a good day with you.
Thank you.
We are waiting for you, and I am many times asking Mr. Matt for having a session like this. We can please continue some more sessions as and when you are free.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah. Again, for Matt also, thank you very much
Thank you.
for having such a very good friend, particularly in emotional intelligence. Thank you very much. And you might convey to my your friend, your teacher also.
Sabu sir, we expect a class from Raza Khan sir also.
Yeah, he is coming.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Okay, thank you once again. Have a nice day, and
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Raza. Thanks, Al.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Matt. Bye.